Hey guys, it's me, Kate again. So this video will be my August book haul. Fingers crossed that this actually is scheduled sometime in August. So at the time when I thought that I'm gonna film this video, I was like, great, I'll have only 3 books to talk about. I think there is like 17 books here, so I'll go, and in case of 2, they're on my next month's TBR, and in case of 1, I already read it, so those 3 are actually the last 3 books that I'm gonna talk about. So the first one is A Conjuring of Light by Schwab. So this is 3rd book in the Darker Shade of Magic series, where we're following Cal, who is an Untitled, which means he can travel to parallel dimensions, in this case London. And there are 4 Londons: Grey London, which is our London without magic; Red London, where people worship magic; White London, where only select few have magic; and Black London, which was destroyed by magic. And one day Kara accidentally smuggled something from Black London, trying to get it someplace else, and gets caught. Yeah, like genius. Then I got Inkheart. By the way, all but 2 books have been given to me by my dad. I'll tell you what those 2 are, and that's why the last book that I'm going to talk about I already read, because I actually read his copy, and I was like, can you get me my own copy of this? So this is Inkheart by Cornelia Funkel. I think this was originally published in German, but the bookstore that I go to only has English books in Croatian and English, and doesn't in German, so I took English edition. And there was one prettier edition of these books, but they only had 2nd and 3rd book and didn't have the 1st book in that edition, so I took this one. And as far as I can remember, because we talked about the movie, I think, in class, and I heard about it from someone on BookTube, that this is about a girl whose dad can travel into the books. Yeah. I really don't know anything else about it. So the next book is We Free the Stars by Hafsak Faisal. The first book is We Hunt the Flame, and I always confuse them. So this is a sequel to We Hunt the Flame, and it's only a duology. So in this series we're following a girl named Nahri, who is the hunter, and nobody knows she's actually huntress. And Crown Prince Nasir, who is known as Prince of Death because he's an assassin for his father, the Sultan. And one day the opportunity presents itself for 2 of them to go onto this island to retrieve magical artifact. And we'll see where this one goes. I really have no idea. Because of how the first one ended, I'm not sure where this one is gonna go. So the next book is The Princess Will Save You. This is, I think, was published last year. Yeah, 1st edition, July 2020. So it already has a sequel and it was in the bookstore, but considering I haven't even read the first one, why would I need a sequel? So, the back says, don't mess with the crown. When her father dies, the princess Amaradne is given an ultimatum: marry the leader of the neighboring kingdom or lose her crown and possibly her life. To free her and her beloved, the stable boy Luca is kidnapped. But Amarande was raised to be a warrior and not a sacrifice, and nothing will stop her from saving her true love. So yeah, I knew more about this book when it came out, but I don't remember at this point. It was over a year ago. Considering now it's end of August 2021 and it was published in July of 2020. So the next book is Loki, Where Mischief Lies by Mackenzie Lee. You might recognize Mackenzie Lee as author of my favorite historical fiction book, that being The Gentleman's Guide to Vice and Virtue. So in this one, I only know we're following Loki, and it's a really fun time. I remember it getting some hype, but I don't really remember what people said about it. So, and it's Loki. Don't need to know a lot about it to read it. So, the next book you might recognize as being the same color as the first book in a series that I always talk about, and it's by the same author, and this book is actually sort of spin-off series of that other series. You might know that book from my September TBR. This book being The Way of Argosy by Sebastian de Castel. So, this is the spin-off of Spellsinger series by Sebastian de Castel. So in this series we're following Farius, and I think this is her, like, origin story, basically, of how she became the way she is in the Spellslinger series. The next book is Serpent and Dove by Shelby Mahurin. It already has a sequel, Blood and Honey, and third book, Gods and Monsters, I think, came out this year. So in this series we're following a witch and witch hunter who are forced to marry each other. That's all I know about it, really, and I was really intrigued by this book, so we'll see how this one goes. So this book you might recognize as being the final full installment in the series that I have love-hate relationship with. Mostly the first book I have love-hate relationship with. The other two are fine. The second one still being my favorite. And this is War Storm. Is it War Storm? War Storm by Victoria Aveyard, fourth book in Red Queen series. So in this series follows a girl named Mara who is red, and in this world reds don't have magic and silvers do have magic. And one day turns out that Mara has powers, and that leads her to basically being involved in this political plotline because Silvers don't want that to basically spread. The next book is The Way You Make Me Feel by Maureen Gold. So this book is about a 16-year-old Clara Sheen who doesn't take life too seriously until her dad basically forces her to work at his food truck for the summer instead of going with her social media influencer mom on vacation to Tulum. And apparently Clara isn't too happy about it. The next book is Extraordinaries by T.J. Klune. Again, a book that recently got a sequel. And this one is about this world where there are extraordinaries, which are basically superheroes. So, and it's LGBTQIA+, and that's all I know about it, really. The next book is The Wise Man's Fear by Patrick Rothfuss. So this is book 2 in the Killkinger Chronicle. So basically in this one we're following a guy named Quote, who is known as the King Killer, and basically he's telling his life story, and it will take him 3 days. And each book in this series is that said one of those 3 set days. But as it looks like we're stuck on day 2 for foreseeable future, so better to be caught up with these 2 books than too late, because the first one was big, and this one's even bigger. My edition stops at the page 994. The cover may be pretty, but the page count isn't. But it's still better than my next book, The Oathbringer Parts 1 and 2 by Brandon Sanderson. I'll just hold on part 1. And basically, if you never noticed, when you put these 2 covers together, they form a whole picture. So basically, UK paperbacks of Brandon Sanderson's chunkier books are basically printed in 2 halves. So, and both of them are chunky. Like, each book is, I think, over 100 pages. 1,000. Of course, they're over 100. Only this one is several hundred pages long. So, this book is 3rd book in the Stormlight Archive by Brandon Sanderson. This series being about, so we have this war which has been going on for a few hundred years, and it started when Parshendi killed the Leti king, and at this point, that point of the war was pretty much lost, and now they're only fighting for these shard blades and sharp plates, which are basically these swords and shields, which are magical and give them powers. And now on to my 2 books that are on my September TBR. The one being All Boys Aren't Blue by George A. Johnson. So I participated in this book giveaway, which one basically cause a hit. So basically you could choose one of the books on their basically feed on their post, not feed, on their post. And they had a few books, and if you won, you would actually get one of the books. And I chose this one, and I won. So this one is a memoir about its author, about being black and queer. So, and what I haven't noticed until I got the book is, wait a second, you have his pictures from his life. And the next one is On These Black Sands by Vanessa Wasserman, which is about this girl who runs away, and this pirate captain who needs someone to guide him. I really don't know anything about this. This was also part of the giveaway which had, like, I think, one local person to the host who had it, and one international, and I was in the international winner. And this, so the host pre-ordered it for me, and I don't really know much about it, only it sounded interesting when I heard about it from the host of the giveaway. And the last book that I actually already read, only I read my dad's old copy, and I was like, Dad, because I read your copy, could you get me my own so I don't keep borrowing yours to the oblivion? And it's Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows by you know who. Actually, this is one of these covers that I actually like, because some of them are just ridiculous. I had to say it. So yeah, that's it for this video. I hope you liked. If you liked, like, share and subscribe. Down below you have my social media, my email, and some other stuff. And I'll see you in the next one.